Right, this one in grade 9. Let's quickly run through the trinomials again. You would remember that, when was it, Wednesday, we started with trinomials, but we only did that slideshow. So I just want to quickly work through, I think it's 5 examples, and then you guys get homework for the weekend. Okay, so we said that for trinomials, first things first, we need 3 terms, obviously, and always just go make sure. Now in the beginning, we're always nice and we arrange them for you, but it's not guaranteed that towards the end of the year it will always be like that. So just double check that your expression is arranged in descending powers. So meaning first your x squared and then your normal x and then no x over here. Okay, so just make sure of that. Right, then we said on that slideshow, first things first is we get factors of the constant. So in this case, it would be factors of the 12. No? Okay, meaning 12 times 1 or 6 times 2 or 3 times 4. Okay, then step 2, use those factors to get the coefficient of x. So I've got to use the factors of 12 and the sum of those must give me 6. Okay, so I've got to use those factors to get the coefficient of x, which in this case is 6. Now, the signs of your brackets are determined by the constant. So sign of the constant. So if this is my constant, the 12. So can you see it's negative 12? So if it's negative, like we have now, your brackets will be, one bracket will have a positive, one bracket will have a negative. Okay, that's always going to be the same. If the sign of the constant is a positive, then there's one of 2 options. They will either be plus plus or they will be minus minus. Now we decide that by looking at the sign in front of or at least the coefficient of x again. All right, but I'll show you guys that in the examples. Okay, so let's get started. The first example is x squared minus 24x plus 144. Okay, now just now we said, okay, when we get something like that, we will have 2 brackets. And when the sign here is a plus, I'm quickly going to skip back. Have a look right at the bottom of the screen. It will either be plus plus or minus minus. No? Okay, so how do we decide which one of the 2? We look at that coefficient. And because that is a negative, I know my 2 brackets will both have minuses. So that's my first step. I know it's going to be x minus something and x minus something. Good. Now, we said we go look for the factors of 144. Now, the first one that I can think of is 12 times 12. Now, can I use that to get negative 24? Yes, I can say minus 12 minus 12, and that's going to give me negative 24. And that's how I knew that my bracket would be x minus 12 and x minus 12. Okay, I know you might still be a bit unsure, but once we get to example 3, then it should all make proper sense. Okay, so let's look at example 2. First things first, let's decide on our brackets. Because this is a minus, I know my brackets will have to be x plus something and x minus something. Okay, how did I know that? I'm just quickly going to skip back to the previous slide again. My sign was a negative, so it will be plus minus. No, that is it. Okay, but it wouldn't be wrong if you said x minus and then in this bracket, x plus, meaning if you switch the 2 around, it doesn't matter, because when we multiply, order doesn't matter, no? Okay, so what do we write in those brackets? We look for factors of 30, and that would be 30 times 1, or 3 times 10, or 15 times 2, or 6 times 5. Okay, now I've got to use either one of these combinations, and I've got to get, what's written in front of that x? A 1. So I must get positive 1. All right, now, do you guys agree that 30 and 1, there's no way I can get to a positive 1 as an answer there. Doesn't matter what I fill in, so that one is out. The 3 and 10, just to give you an example, 3 plus 10 would give me 13. 3 minus 10, minus 7. But I would never get to positive 1, so that one is also out. The 15 and 2 as well, 15 plus 2 gives me 17, 15 minus 2, 13, so I can't use that. But the 5 and the 6, I can use that to get to 6, and now remember the signs here, one was a plus, one was a minus. So where would I fill it in? Positive 6 minus 5. That's going to give me an answer of positive 1. No. So it was a positive 6, so I know it would be x plus 6. And over here I had a minus 5, so x minus 5. Now it should start making sense, or you should see, I almost want to say the pattern. Okay, example 3. My sign is a plus, and when it's a plus, I know I will either have x plus something, or x minus, x minus. So how do I decide between the two? We said we look at this sign, the coefficient of x. Because that's a positive, I know it would be x plus and x plus. Okay, so now factors of 10 will be 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. I must use those to get 7. So 10 and 1, not going to get there. But 5 and 2, yes, I can say positive 5 plus 2. And that would give me positive 7. So x plus 5, x plus 2. Good. Now, don't look at example 5 yet. Okay, over here, we see we've got a negative. So that's how I knew x plus and x minus, right? Okay, so let's go get our factors of 10. Factors of 10 will be 10 times 1 or 5 times 2. I've got to use those to get a positive 3. So 10 and 1, that's not going to work. But 5 and 2 could work. I can say positive 5 minus 2, because that's going to give me a positive 3. So x plus 5 and x minus, x minus 2. Then the last example. What's different here is you will see that up until example 4, we had x squared, meaning there was no coefficient, or there was, but the coefficient was 1 every time. No. Now all of a sudden we have a number in front of x squared, meaning x squared has got a coefficient. So whenever you see that over here on the right hand side, you will see that I said when x squared has a coefficient, take that specific number out as a common factor. Now remember, common factor means that I must be able to take it out of every single term. Okay, now in this case, because my coefficient was 2, I'm going to take out a common factor of 2. So in term 1, 2x squared, if I take out 2 as a common factor, I will have left x squared. In term 2, 12x, if I take out a common factor of 2, it will be 6x. Term 3, I had 10. If I take out a common factor of 2, I will have 5. Okay, right. So now we have our trinomial looking like we wanted to inside that bracket. So the only thing that is going to happen here is the 2 tags along. I can't just throw it away. And then that bracket, the trinomial, can be factorized further, like we did in example 1 up until 4. Okay, right, so because this was a plus, I knew my brackets would be plus plus or minus minus. How do we decide between the two? That sign, because that's a positive, I know it would be x plus and x plus. So let's fill that in, x plus something, x plus something. Right, then we go look for factors of 5. Now that will just be 5 times 1. There's nothing else. I've got to use that to get 6, and that will be positive 5 plus 1 will give me positive 6. So x plus 5, x plus 1. As easy as that. Okay, I hope you guys get it. Your homework is exercise 16.5 on page 181, but, okay, number 1 up until 4, but only do the left-hand side, okay? Meaning at number 1 you do ACE, 2 ACE, 3 ACE, and 4 ACE. Okay, that's it. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend. Bye.